Hi, I'm Jeff from New York. Please like and subscribe.
Episode 73, Finding a Boyfriend.
All right, with your cute appearance, I can't help but think you are an amazing-looking woman. I believe the audience will like you more.
Christine said as she held Elaine's hand and continued.
Since you've agreed, then come with me to the company and sign the contract. At the same time, we'll evaluate your singing and dancing skills so that we can focus on your future training.
Okay.
Elaine nodded seriously. She had already made up her mind. She must make the most of this opportunity. Elaine already knew that Jeff's family was very rich, but she had never considered relying exclusively on Jeff for her expenses. She would still work hard like before.
All right, we'll leave now. There's no need for him to come along. The girl group we're developing is still secret. No outsiders are allowed in the company.
Christine said.
You can stay at the university. Come pick me up later.
Elaine said as she glanced at Jeff. Jeff wanted to go with her, but Elaine had told him to stay. Jeff asked for the exact location of Christine's company and promised to pick her up when they were done. Christine got in her car and they headed to the company.
Is he really your boyfriend?
Christine thought back to what Jeff said to her selfishly and felt a bit of resentment in her heart.
Just now he told me that I'm secretly in love with him. I don't know where he got that kind of courage from seeing what he's wearing. I mix with the entertainment industry all year round, and in my eyes, he's just a country bumpkin.
Hearing Christine's complaints, Elaine didn't get angry. Instead, she couldn't help but laugh. She was worried that Christine had been secretly looking at Jeff, but she didn't expect that. In Christine's eyes, Jeff was nothing more than a bumpkin to her.
Actually, he's quite a nice person.
She said.
Elaine, you're just a student. You might think that he's not bad, but you'll become a big star in the future. Your prestige and wealth will grow fast. He eventually won't be worthy of you.
Christine said seriously, analyzing the situation.
We'll talk about it in the future.
Elaine said, smiling faintly.
Even if I did become famous, would the amount of money I might earn equal even a tiny bit of what Jeff's family had?
She thought. They soon arrived at Brightness Star Music's New York office. Christine brought her to the practice room to test her singing and dancing skills, but she still didn't know that her results would be better than what she'd been expecting.
Elaine, I didn't expect you to not only be beautiful, but also be so good at singing and dancing. With our professional training, you'll definitely become a great singer and star.
Christine said, feeling especially satisfied with Elaine. She believed that she had found a treasure after signing the contract. It was already noon, so Christine took her out for lunch.
You're now an artist under our banner. Since you're a student, you'll have to pay more attention to your studies. Plus also train. As you don't have any classes this afternoon, you can start training at the company. Several other group members will be there this afternoon,
said Christine.
Okay.
Elaine nodded seriously. Since Christine valued her so much, she had to work hard. She couldn't let Christine down, and she couldn't waste her youth either. Elaine called Jeff and said that she would be training all afternoon. She told him not to worry about her and that she would call him to pick her up after practice at 4:30. Jeff had just finished his class and was on his way back to his dorm. At that moment, Jessa Fitzgerald from the cheerleading squad called.
Jeff, where are you? Come to the West Sports Field to move your stuff. You don't know about the basketball game?
Jessa said angrily over the phone. He was used to her attitude. During the basketball game, the cheerleading squad would cheer. As he was the only boy in the squad, there was no one else to carry his stuff. When he arrived at the West Sports Field, the girls from the squad were all wearing Navy-style clothing and looked particularly pleasing to the eyes, especially Jessa. Her tall figure, slender waist, toned thighs, and pretty face made her look beautiful. 7 or 8 attractive girls were standing in front of the equipment room's door, waiting for Jeff to move his things.
Oh, Jeff, where have you been this month?
Seeing that Jeff had arrived, Jessa smiled at him smugly. It was strange that she hadn't seen him for so long.
I was away on a trip,
Jeff said with a smile. Seeing so many lovely girls again, he was in a good mood and said,
I'll move the hula hoops and fans to the basketball court now.
Saying that, he began to move the things for the cheerleaders.
You still have money to travel. I remember that last time you were at the entrance of the King Seafood asking other people for money.
Jessa, look at you. Jeff has a big G Mercedes. What's wrong with traveling?
Another girl from the squad said in a weird tone. Jessa had already told them that the last time he had come, it had been in someone else's big G, so they weren't afraid of him at all. Jeff didn't say anything as he walked toward the basketball court with a box in his arms. Jessa and the others followed behind him. Gerald Torres, Dean Marshall, and the other basketball players were warming up on the side.
Yo, isn't it the 2 million strong bandit who's come? I didn't see you for a month, and here I thought you were running away from your guilt.
Dean patted his basketball and walked toward Jeff with a smile.
What great thief, the principal has already clarified everything. You don't have to be so insulting,
Gerald said. He then looked toward Jeff with an evil smile and said,
You should call him the owner of the fancy car.
Yeah,
one player said.
that's right. Call me the owner of the fancy car,
Said Jeff.
Fancy car owner, you're here. Hee hee.
Another player said. The others started to cheer at him. They all knew that the big G wasn't Jeff's.
Jeff, didn't you bring your big car today?
Gerald walked to Jeff's side and asked with an evil smile.
I left it at the shop.
Jeff replied as he put the box on the ground. He didn't want to pay any attention to Gerald and the others.
Oh, look at Jeff's mental fortitude. He's still calling that big G his.
Gerald said with an expression of admiration as he looked at the others.
Are you guys as thick-skinned as Jeff's family?
No, haha. No.
Laughed the others.
No wonder Jeff could drive a big G, and we can only drive an Audi A4. This is the gap, you know. If you want to own a big G, then you better be more thick-skinned than Jeff.
Gerald couldn't help but laugh out loud. Dean stopped a passing student and pointed at Jeff as he said,
Hey, bro, let me tell you something. This is the logistics nanny for the cheerleading squad. He drives a big G.
Who? He has a big G. If he drives a big G, then I drive a helicopter, damn it.
Said the student in disbelief as he glanced at Jeff in disdain. The basketball players and cheerleaders laughed. Jeff gave them a nonchalant look and sat down at the edge of the basketball court. The game soon began. The Peston University basketball team, represented by Gerald's group, played against a team from another university. Amid the cheers from the cheerleaders, who were enthusiastically dancing, Gerald and the other basketball players became braver as they played. In the end, they defeated their opponents by a landslide. After the game, it was already past 6 o'clock. A silver Volkswagen slowly stopped outside the West Sports Field.
Cousin.
Jessa whispered. She couldn't understand why her cousin had come at this time.
Jessa, it's your cousin. I remember that. She isn't married yet.
Dean said with a smile. Diane Gonzalez had already gotten out of the car. That day Diane had wavy long hair and an orange mini skirt. Her hair reached to her thighs. With her exposed legs looking thin and white, she walked toward the playground in her high heels, as if she were a model on a catwalk.
So beautiful.
Said one boy.
As expected of Jess's cousin. Her whole family's beautiful.
Said another. The basketball players all looked at Diane with silly smiles. Some of them had already started to tidy up their hair, hoping to make a good impression.
Don't be selfish. My cousin doesn't like you.
Jessa said bluntly before walking over to her. The basketball boys didn't listen to Jessa. One by one, they followed behind her and walked over to Diane. She was so beautiful. Who wouldn't want to take her out?
Cousin, why are you here?
Jessa smiled and held out her hand.
I'm looking for a boy.
She said. Diane had originally come to find Jessa to ask her for a meeting with Jeff, but it wasn't necessary now. Diane already saw him sitting by the basketball court.
My cousin's here to find a boyfriend? She must think students are young and handsome.
Thought Jessa. The basketball players tried to show her their charm. Jeff watched as Diane walked over to them. Some boys mussed up their hair to look handsome, while others pretended to be depressed. Dean thought that he had big muscles, so he acted like he wasn't paying attention and moved his arms around nonchalantly, causing his muscles to bulge. Seeing that Diane wasn't paying any attention to the others, Dean felt even more certain that he had a chance.
Hello, miss. Let's get to know each other. My name's Dean.
He said as he smiled handsomely. When Diane walked up to him, he extended his hand to her. To his surprise, Diane didn't even look at him. Although she seemed to be walking directly toward him, she ignored his outstretched hand.
Ms.
Dean's smile froze on his face. It was awkward, so he quickly scratched his head and pretended as if nothing had happened. However, when he saw what Diane did next, Dean was confused like the rest of the students. Diane walked up to Jeff, bent down and pulled him up by the arm. She said to him with a smile,
"Oh, sir, you're here. Come with me and we'll go get a bite to eat."
Diane, dressed in her hot clothes, stood beside Jeff. Her hands were holding his arm as she smiled at him. The distance between their faces was not more than a few inches. Alex could feel her breath. All the other boys were dumbfounded. Their hearts were filled with jealousy, feeling like the world had turned upside down.
Just what was going on?
They thought. Thank you. Super thanks purchase. At Thomas Farrell for 138. August 2023. Top super thanks purchasers. Thank you so much.